On behalf of the IHSA Board of Directors, their administrative staff, the IHSA Track and Field Advisory Committee, and the administration and staff of Eastern Illinois University, welcome to O'Brien Stadium for the second day of the 42nd Girls State Final Track and Field Meet. Our competition is conducted under rules and regulations adopted by the IHSA member schools. Sport a winning attitude and practice good sportsmanship today. Remember, attitude is for everyone. Enjoy the spring spectacular. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I ask that you all please rise. Turn and face the colors of the United States and join our soloist, Charleston High School senior Peyton Foster, for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, with broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and rockets right where the bombs bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does thy star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Peyton Foster, ladies and gentlemen, of Charleston High School. You'll meet her in just a moment. If I may direct your attention to the 20-yard line, where it is my privilege to introduce to you the administrator in charge of cross country and track and field in Illinois, the Assistant Executive Director of the Illinois High School Association, Mr. Ron McGraw.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Pazinski. It's my pleasure to invite all of you this morning to cheer aggressively and loudly for all the young women today who will compete in this 2A championship. We appreciate your support and your positive enthusiasm that will drive them to their best and fastest times and highest jumps and PRs all across the board. We thank you for that ahead of time. At this time, I'll continue our tradition that we have here at the IHSA Track and Field by introducing to you our referee for the weekend, Mr. Bob Rice from Danville. He'll be here to work this very important event and ensure that everyone gets a fair opportunity to compete. But at the moment, he'll be here to read to you our sportsmanship statement. Mr. Bob Rice.
Thank you. Good morning. The Illinois High School Association requires officials to enforce sportsmanship rules. Athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators all have a part to play in this process. High school athletics emphasize the positive values we all have worked hard to create: a sense of teamwork, respect, responsibility, and perspective. All attributes of good sportsmanship shared by competitors who demonstrate this good behavior. We encourage and appreciate your assistance in promoting sportsmanship, and we hope this competition will reflect the mutual respect of all parties. Good luck and have a great meet.
Thank you. At some point here shortly, probably before another minute passes, I'd like to introduce you to the young lady who sang our national anthem this morning. But we'll plan to be racing at 9 o'clock. We're checking and double checking our starting system now. Our backup system is giving us just a little bit of a question mark, so we're going to make sure that's working perfectly before we begin our competition today. It is still our hope that we will be racing at 9 o'clock. This, ladies and gentlemen, it's difficult to speak from this microphone, much less sing. It would be impossible. It's almost impossible for me to speak, much less try to sing the national anthem. So our anthem singers go upstairs where it's a little less feedback and a little less delay. But ladies and gentlemen, please thank Peyton Foster from Charlton High School for her rendition of the national anthem this morning. Thank you. With that, I'll step away and work on this situation with our folks and see if we haven't got that corrected so we can get kicked off right at 9 o'clock. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your attendance and support of these fine young women.
Second. Ladies and gentlemen, now on the track, we are entering Class 3A competition. This is heat number 1 of 3 of the 4x800 meter relay. Here's the field of competition in lane number 3, the Huskies of Oak Park, River Forest. In 4, LaGrange, Lyons Township. The Vikings of Palatine, Fremd will be in 5. Hoffman Estates, the Hawks in 6. The Knights of Lincoln Way Central, New Lenox will be in 7. From the city of Chicago, Lane Tech, the Indians in 10. Algonquin Jacobs in 11. The Trevians of Winnetka New Trier in 12. And the Yorkville Foxes will be out in number 13. All right, we got Yorkville in this race. Of course, Yorkville is the current 2A state champion team-wise in cross country. Yorkville boys and girls took that title. Go ahead. Flight 2 of the 3A high jump report. Flight 2 of the 3A high jump report. Early leader here is Hoffman. They're in the Harlequin print. Hoffman Estates lane right there in the top 2. And Lyons there on the outside. You also got Jacobs working around. Here's New Trier. Aguirre for Hoffman Estates in the lead. New Trier moves up front here in the first 400. Lyons in third. New Trier. Mimi, when we see Mimi Smith, she is the state cross-country champion in Class 3A. Adi Escobar running for Fremd in third. As they come through the south curve, again, we look at New Trier just taking the lead. There is Lane on the outside. Lyons Township with Hoffman, Jacobs, and Lane Tech coming up on the side. We've got a new fourth coming around. That's Fremd. And I think that is Fremd that has just taken the lead. We'll check that as they come around. Lane Tech is in the lead. For lane 3154 is Mulkerins, and Fremd battling with them. Higuchi running for Fremd. And again, Lane is running in the white over green today. And Lyons in the 3 position. Considine in the lead for Lane Tech. Still very tight race here with Fremd, Higuchi, and Lyons Township. 34.76 for Lyons. It is Hamor. Here's your top 3. Hamor trying to gain on Considine. Hoffman Estates is 4th. Haley for Hoffman, and I believe that is Yorkville in the next position. Now, Higuchi apparently taking the lead for Fremd. Fremd, Lyons, Lane. The 1, 2, 3 on the back stretch. Hoffman next, followed by Yorkville and Nutrier. Jacobs behind Nutrier. Coach from Muhammad Seymour to the dugout. Coach from Muhammad Seymour to the dugout. This is Higuchi for Fremd. She's handing off. Citarello will be the next runner for Fremd. And Fremd continues, and Lyons is 2nd, Lane is 3rd, Hoffman 4th. Yorkville coming through 5th with Nutrier 6th. Katie Hines with the baton for Lyons Township. Running for Lane Tech is Davis. She's in the 3rd spot. Fremd and Lyons running together. Hines trying to run to the outside on Citarello. Lane is 3rd, but here comes Hoffman. It's Hiley. And Hoffman's Hiley coming up. And they're all pushing together. Looks like Hoffman wants the lead here into the final 400 of this leg. And you also have Davis coming up for Lane Tech. There's your 1-2 now, Hoffman and Lane. Hoffman, Lane, Fremd, Lyons. Big push by those new 1-2 runners. 3rd call, flight 2 triple jump. 3rd call, flight 2 triple jump. North pit. Davis trying to see if she has anything more to go out in front of Hiley for Hoffman. And here's Lane back into the front. Davis heard it. She's got the lead, and Fremd coming around for 2nd place. Davis of Lane Tech 4x1. Call for the 4x1. Ciardello with Davis holding her off. Lions in third, highly split back to fourth. It's Lane Tech into the anchors. Wojtasek. Finnegan running for the Fremd Vikings. For Lane Tech, it is Joanna Podosek. And it's a very close race as we go to the back stretch. Third place is Lyons Township. For Lions, we have Lexi Rudolfsky, and she's back in pushing Fremd and Lane. Rudolfsky in the 3 spot. She's behind Podosek, who has the lead. Skylar Bollinger starting to come around, looking for 5th right now. That's Bollinger in the sunglasses, the red over black for Yorkville. 400 to go. Fremd has battled now with Rudolfsky back in the lead for Lane Tech. Finnegan runs for Fremd. Nora Finnegan. Now Podosek back to the lead. Finnegan second. Rudolfsky third for LaGrange Lions. We're in the bell lap. Podosek running for Lane Tech. School out there at Western and Addison on the north side of Chicago. Here come the Indians. Lane Tech. We've seen their boys team run this very well. Finnegan trying to catch up here, headed to the finish line. It's Finnegan for Fremd. Rudolfsky catching up with Podosek. It'll be Fremd and then Lane and then Lions, followed by Hoffman. Skylar Bollinger in for Yorkville. Fremd with the win, 9:20:27. Lane is second, 9:21:06. Lions is third with a 9:21:81. Then Hoffman Estates with a 9:23:68. Yorkville, anchored by Bollinger, 9:28:84. And then Nutrier in sixth with a 9:34:66. Second call, 4x100 meter relays to the tent. Second call, 4x100 meter relay to the tent. All right, here's heat number 2 of 3 in the 4x800 meter relay. Again, we have called 4x100s to the tent. In lane number 2, it's J. Sterling Morton of Berwyn Cicero in 2. The Morton Mustangs in 3. Wheaton Warrenville South, the Tigers in 3. Referee to the dugout, please. Referee to the dugout. In 4, McHenry. In 5, Batavia. Wilmette, the Loyola Ramblers, will be in 6. Lincoln Way East. Here's one of the big factor teams for the trophy, the defending champions in 3A. Lincoln Way East in 9. The Barrington Phillies will be in 10. O'Fallon in 11. Naperville North in 12. And Downers Grove North in 13. Record in this event is 8:59:03, set by Wheaton Warrenville South 2 years ago. And as we head to the break, the leader in from the sectional, Downers North, the Trojans, will go to lane number 1. The leadoff is Moravec. Emma Moravec for Downers North. Behind her is Wheaton Warrenville South. And then O'Fallon in third. For Wheaton, we have Ballin. Loyola Academy, 3,800 is House, Catherine House, running for the Ramblers. 64 seconds on the first 400 meters. Now you have Wheaton Warrenville South in the lead. Dallin, the senior for Wheaton, as she comes to the back stretch, she's in the lead. And Downers is second. And there's House for Loyola. She goes into the 2 spot now and moving the field up. They were in last place at the break, now they're in second. And here is Dallin running for Wheaton Warrenville. Loyola second, Downers North third, Naperville North, and O'Fallon next. Gibson running for Naperville North. Here is Dallin for Wheaton Warrenville South. The Tigers are going to go into the break. Enright takes the baton for the Tigers, and the lead continues to be for Wheaton. Downers has gotten back into second. Second runner there is Schaub. Now O'Fallon pushing third. That's Samantha Lapp for O'Fallon from the Metro East area. New second will confirm that as they come around the north curve. Downers is in 4. Loyola is the second runner. Zolorski for Loyola Academy in second. That's Loyola into the lead. O'Fallon in third. Zaworski with the lead for Loyola, though it's a very close race. Wheaton Warrenville is second, and I think O'Fallon is third. This is race number 2 of 3. Final call to 4x1s. Final call 4x100 meters to the tent. Final call. On the backstretch, Loyola has the lead. Wheaton Warrenville is second, then O'Fallon. Then a gap to Downers Grove North and Naperville North. Enright for Wheaton. And Wheaton trying to come around here. Good position into the exchange. 37-72, Alexandra Enright. Pushing Zaworski. Zaworski responds. Back to the lead for Loyola. And the Ramblers take the baton and keep the lead. And right now you got O'Fallon slipping into second. Yeah. Jackie McDonald running for the Ramblers. Second place is O'Fallon now. That's Clinton. Caitlin Clinton running for O'Fallon. Wheaton Warrenville is third. And the first call, flight 3 triple jump. Here's Loyola. O'Fallon next. And that is Olivia Gatti, I believe, running for Wheaton. Sarah Atkins running for Wheaton. Now Loyola opening the gap. O'Fallon second, which is Caitlin Clinton. Jackie McDonald with the lead in the backstretch for the Ramblers. O'Fallon trying to hold off Wheaton. Downers North. Third runner is Jan. Zaina Jan is the runner for Downers North. And here are the Ramblers. For Wilmette, Jackie McDonald gets ready to go into the anchor. Handing off to Sarah Kelly. And there you go. O'Fallon's going to be second. Downers trying to get back into the top 4. And Urbanchik has it for Downers North. Meanwhile, on to the back stretch, Loyola's Sarah Kelly has accelerated and opened up more of the lead. Second place is O'Fallon. Etcher running for O'Fallon, Athena Etcher. And into third now is Urbanchik and Downers North. Fourth is Wheaton. And for Wheaton, 37.75 is Melinda Frank. .814 mark, Sarah Kelly. Into the back stretch now, 300 to go for Loyola. Kelly in first, looks like Urbanchik has come back. Now in second place for Downers Grove North. Third place, O'Fallon. Fourth is Wheaton. And fifth is Naperville North. Here we come home, the Loyola Ramblers. Look to take this second race here in the 4x800. Loyola, Sarah Kelly. Stephanie Urbanchik follows for the Trojans of Downers North. Here's O'Fallon. And for O'Fallon, you have Neal. That's where they'll come in. We have a 9:15.73 for Loyola. 9:19.75 for Downers North in second place. O'Fallon is third with a 9:25.08. Naperville North fourth with a 9:26.15. Well, as we wait for heat number 3 to come on the track, and here they are. I'll give you a quick summary of 2A qualifiers. It's all in the book right now. And Cahokia will take a major threat into Saturday for the Class 2A finals. Cahokia has 10 finalists on Saturday. There are 3 teams with 8, Maple Park, Canelan, Normal, University, and Springfield. With 6 qualifiers for Saturday, Glenbard South and Springfield Southeast. With 5 qualifiers, Chicago Brooks, Lombard Montini, Oak Park Fenwick, Peoria Notre Dame, and Richmond Park Rich South. In the 4 qualifier category, Aurora, Rosary, Chicago Noble Street, Kankakee, Mattoon, and Metamora. That's how it looks going into the Class 2A finals tomorrow here at O'Brien Stadium. Heat number 3. Onto the track, and here's the field. In lane number 2, the Flyerettes, East St. Louis Senior, will be in 2. In 3, the Wolfpack, St. Ignatius, Chicago in 3. Fox Lake Grant in 4. Naperville Central, the Redhawks in 5. The Lockport Porters will be in 6. The Prospect Knights of Mount Prospect in 7. Wheeling is out in 8. The Geneva Vikings will be in 9. St. Charles East, the Saints in 12. And Palatine High, the Pirates, out in 13. Palatine looks then to be the top seed coming in from the sectionals. Palatine. Palatine's sectional lead is 9:20.67. 9:20.67. Early leader here, East St. Louis, holding the rail, staying with it. That's Jada Marshall running for the Flyerettes. And it's a pack trying to catch up with East St. Louis. Jada Marshall again with the lead. I've been told that so close you can put a blanket over them all. St. Ignatius leads that group. There's St. Charles East on the outside. Meyer running for Ignatius. 35:07 is the inside runner. That would be Naperville Central and Lockport. Lockport is a Carpenter of Naperville. St. Charles East now in second, and they're catching up with Marshall. That is Scholl running for the Saints. Tori Skull. And they are in the lead now. St. Charles has overtaken East St. Louis. Looks like that's Ignatius in the 3, Palatine in the 4. Into the north curve, St. Charles East. 57 for them is Tori Skull. She's going to come in looking for the exchange. Jada Marshall, a freshman second. 35:07, that would be Lockport. And Bollinger, Morgan Bollinger, trying to bring it forward for the Porters, and they're going to get second out of that effort. St. Charles East, Lockport, East St. Louis. I think that's Prospect that has popped up into the 4. And for St. Charles East, we got Anastasia Honay. Chicago North Lawndale Prep, the Phoenix to the clerk's tent, please. Immediately, East St. Louis trying to come back and catch St. Charles East. Kelty In there for East St. Louis, Lockport is third. 35:08 is Aubrey Elwood running for the Porter. That is Prospect running with what looks like Palatine. Brooke Wilson of Prospect, 30. Lockport's in second. That is Aubrey Elwood. It's still St. Charles East, but maybe not for long. Everybody's caught back up with the Saints. Honey trying to keep the lead. Lockport in second. Gonna check that for third. That might be Naperville Central. Leader coming around now. St. Charles East opened it back up. 37:55. That is Honey, and she's going to bring it in. 36:66 is second. That's Palatine. That is Burton. Palatine wearing the white over red. There's Palatine in second now. East St. Louis in third. Lockport in fourth. That all red then must be Naperville, followed by Prospect. East St. Louis trying to run down East St. Charles East again. And they're getting closer. And Palatine right behind. It's East St. Louis and Palatine. Look at the advance by Palatine. Cassidy McPherson slingshots into the lead. East St. Louis in second. McPherson in the lead. Jamelia McGraw. North Lawndale Kirch. Report to the clerk's tent. Here's McGraw. Coming around now. Still trying to stay with Palatine. North Lawndale coach report to the clerk's tent. Cassidy McPherson with the baton for Palatine. Back and forth. Palatine opens the lead. Third place is St. Charles East. That's Krista Fitzmaurice running for St. Charles East now. Naperville Central trying to come up and challenge into the top group. That's Hoffman running for Naperville Central. Three Hoffman sisters in the mix for Naperville Central. 36:72. Coming in, McPherson looking for the anchors. St. Charles East in second, Naperville Central in third. East St. Louis and Lockport battle it out. For Lockport, 09 is Emmy Hahn. And now, Palatine opens it again. St. Charles East, is that them in second? Palatine in first, now Naperville Central in third and accelerating. Corinne Adams running for the Saints, Naperville Central into second. Nikki Hoffman in there for Naperville Central. Palatine still has the lead in this race. We saw Fremd win race number 1. This is Kelly O'Brien, 36:73. A sophomore, a 2-second lead on Naperville Central's Hoffman. And 47, Corinne Adams running for St. Charles East. Here's the bell. 8:07, 8:08. Palatine, 9:20.67 as their qualifier. They're going to beat that one as they have less than 300 to go. .844, 8:45. Here comes Palatine. Of course, the record's 8:59.03. Not a bad effort here. Naperville Central and Hoffman. 36:73 coming home. Kelly O'Brien. There's 9:03, 9:04, 9:05 for Palatine. Naperville Central second. St. Charles East third. Lockport will be fourth. Palatine comes home at 9:14. 9:14.98. Naperville Central at 9:20.95. St. Charles 9:23.21. And 9:26.03 for Lockport. East St. Louis, early leader, ends it at fifth with a 9:32.72. Then Wheeling and St. Ignatius in the 6-7 spot.
And they're off clean start. First call for the hurdles. We need all hurdlers, please report. We go to the track. It's going to be even out in lane number 8. Bolingbrook will receive the baton first. Naperville Central now has it along with Harvey Thornton and East St. Boogie. We go on to the backstretch. Harvey Thornton is running well out in lane number 7 along with Bolingbrook. Bolingbrook, Naperville Central, Harvey Thornton, and we have O'Fallon and Bolingbrook. We're coming down to the anchors. And we'll go to the exchange here. We have O'Fallon, East St. Louis, Bolingbrook, and now we come the Red Hawks now coming. Bolingbrook has been leading from start, and they might finish this one clean out. Lane 3 is coming in there. That's Oak Park, the Huskies. We go 8-3-6. 8-3-6, the finish we had up here, and we'll check the board here in just a few seconds. But a great leg from Bolingbrook. We're going to check who that anchor was. It looks like it was Charlencia Stennis. Clean start. We go to the curve. Everyone's still even. Danville out in front. That is Abrosha Williams. Williams will probably hand off the baton first, and yes, she will out in lane at number 7. We move into the inside in 6. That's Belleville West. That is Najaya McNee, the junior. Out in the lead, Homewood Flossmoor, the Vikings not far behind. That leg was ran by Mickens. We're in the third leg now. It's still going to be Belleville West. That's Monique Shine, the sophomore, along with Homewood Flossmoor. That is Jayla Stewart. We go to the anchors. It's an open and shut case for Antoinette Boughton, the junior. And it's going to be Belleville West with her leg. That's Jasmine Berry, the junior as well. We go 5, 6, 7. We'll drop to 4th. It looks like Highland Park anchor Nia Lane, a senior, will slide into the third spot, but we're going to check the board. Homewood Flossmoor 47-60, Belleville West 48-10. And they're off clean start. We go to lane number 5. That's Rock Island. Rock Island moving well for the first leg. New Trier moves up just a tad bit. It's going to be Rock Island. Winnetka, a little trouble with the handoff, but we move Shepherd into the mix. Shepherd, Rock Island, Shepherd. Rock Island with that third leg lead the exchange. Crete Moni in 4. And they're in third place. We go to the anchors. Hand is out, stick is in hand, and we're moving Rock Island in an open and shut case for the red, black, and yellow. A battle for second. That is Palos and Crete Moni with the edge here. We're going to go 5-4, 6-7. 5-4, 7-8. And we have a clean start. Frankfurt looking to win this one. They have an extraordinary anchor leg, Alexis Highshaw. She's out there waiting on deck, and they will get the baton first. A stumble by Warren. They will get the baton and continue to run. Evanston went down as well. Frankfurt, Lincoln Way East. They are clear of traffic on the inside of them. That's St. Charles East. And we'll go to Alexis Highshaw. She's going to be a feature here over the weekend. She has the baton and she is moving well. On the inside, St. Charles East. And along with that, we have Palatine trying to sneak in the third spot, but getting outran by Wheaton Warrenville. And we go 4 with St. Charles East and the rest of the field. But again, Highshaw, you're going to be hearing that name this entire weekend. We'll go to the board.
And they're looking at.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The start of the 100-meter hurdles, Class 3A. Let's set the field with our 3 heats for preliminaries. We have in lane number 2, Jolie Atchison of Chicago Whitney Young. In lane number 3, we have Eva Burke, the junior from Cary Grove. Lane number 4, we have Tanya Foy, the junior from Crete Moni. In the middle, lane number 5, Katie Shiflett, the senior from Community West, Normal. In lane number 6, you have Jasmine Berry, the senior of Belleville West. Sierra Jones in lane number 7 of Old Fallon. Lane number 8, Kayla Jamar, a sophomore of Richards of Oak Lawn. And rounding out the field of lane 9, Jade Mays, the freshman of Joliet West. Starter, the race is yours. And they're off clean start. Joelle of Whitney Young over the hurdles first, but now she takes it in lane number 5 and 6. That is Shiflett and Berry. Jasmine Berry and Shiflett. Shiflett and Berry. We go to the finish. 5 and 6. Close. Jasmine Berry and Shiflett. Great start by Joelle Atchison of Whitney Young. We'll go to the second heat. We'll set the field. In lane number 2, we have Allison O'Connell of Grays Lake North in 2. Tracy Orbullum of Hoffman Estates Conant. Princess Shadipo of Oswego in 4. We have Jayla Stewart, the junior from Homewood Flossmoor. In lane number 6, we have Macy Tremblay, the junior from Huntley. Kristen Dowell of Edwardsville. Lane number 8, Kayla Lawrence of Carpentersville, Dundee Crown. And lane number 9, Emma Hugan, the junior from Lyons.
Coaches from Evans.
A great start by Stewart, home with Flossmoor. She is moving down the track, and that's lane number 7. Now Dowell of Edwardsville moving into second. 6 will drop to third. Tremblay of Huntley, but it's going to be the Vikings, Edwardsville and Huntley. Stewart, Dowell, and Tremblay of Huntley. We need the coaches. And the third and final heat for the girls 100-meter hurdles class 3A. In lane number 2, representing Barrington, McCall Braun of. In lane number 3, representing the township of Evanston, Alexa Harvey. Maya Mason, Mount Prospect, the Knights. Your section leader coming out of last week, Emma Spangola, the senior from Aurora West. Lane number 6, Remy Alfratano of Evanston. In 6, we have Shalia Tucker, Dixon Tucker of Downers Grove South. In lane number 8, Amari Wilkerson of Oak Park River Forest, a senior. And Destiny Kensnetta of Berwyn Morton Cicero out in 9. We go to the starter. Good start for Emma. She's rolling through again, a sectionals best, and we're all fighting here for second. Lane number 4, that is Maya from Mount Prospect. And the twins from the Wild Kits will go Emma. Prospect and both the Wild Kits. We're going to look at the board for an outstanding run, 1390.
All right, there's Lincoln Way East, Marias. Lane number 5, Marias. Clear leader here, the battle for second, maybe 4. And 6 after her, 4 is Matta of Crystal Lake Central. And 11-4 is the record in this event. There's 11:89. And here is heat number 2 of 3 into the blocks. We have Gabrielle Napper, Belvedere North, the Blue Thunder in 1. Jessica Watkins, Bolingbrook in 2. Yakira Love, Chicago Westinghouse in 4. Alexis Highshaw, Lincoln Way East, another Griffin in the middle for this race. Lucretia Linton, Rock Island, another Rock in this race. In 6, Brittany Thomas, Bloom Township, the Blazing Trojans in 7. Imani Johnson of Proviso West, the Panthers from Proviso in 8. And Colleen Smith of Addison Trail in 9. Again, look at Lincoln Way East in the middle, although Bloom Township challenging on the outside with Thomas. It is going to be Lincoln Way East, but much closer behind her than the race we just saw. Alexis Highshaw, Lincoln Way East, with the win, an 11:98. Now for race number 3, into the blocks. Victoria Jones, Oak Lawn Community, the Spartans in 1. Dejene Eghareva of Naperville Central in 2. Autumn Santos, Gurney Warren in 3. Alicia Jones O'Fallon in 4. In the middle here, your sectional best, Parker English, Evanston Township in 5. Janelle Rogers of Minooka in 6. Antoinette Broughton, Homewood Flossmoor in 7. Michaela Pierce, Chicago Westinghouse Academy in 8. And Eliza Zinn, Aurora West, out in 9. All right. Actually, here's Parker English he's battling it with Rogers of Minooka. English and Rogers. Clock's going to have to sort that out with the camera. Maybe Rogers. But the lean could have gone to Parker English. Let's see what they say. All right, here we go. The 800-meter run is on the track. Includes Sulabet Ramirez, Chicago Heights, Bloom Township, Cassidy McPherson of Palatine, Katie Sheehan, Nequa Valley, Mariah McAcey, Minooka, Madeline Bernstein, LaGrange Lions, Anna Imote, Normal Community, Anna Walgren, Elmhurst York, Jenna Letzo of Belvedere North, and Michaela Hackbarth, Downers Grove South. That's your field in race number 1 of 3. 800-meter run preliminaries, Class 3A. We go to the starter. Record in this event, 2:07:05. Courtney Clayton, Rockton Hononegah, set last year. 2:07:05. At the break, it is Hackbarth of Downers South. And in there also 5, Nequa Valley, Sheehan. 5, 13, 11, and 6. The 11 runner is Walgren of Elmhurst York. Mariah McAcey, Minooka, is in the 4 spot. There we see Nequa, Downers South, York, Minooka, Belvedere North, trying to stay in on the rail. People starting to catch up to the leaders here with 400 to go. 106, 107 with the 400 to go. It is still, now you have Downers South back to the lead. Hackbarth has returned. 4 by 200 meters to the tent. 4 by 200 meters to the 10th. Hackbarth in the 800 meters had a time of 2:14:45. And she's opening it up. New second place now is the 10 runner, Normal Community, Wildcats. Actually, Community is the Iron Women. Here comes Hackbarth. And Belvedere North has snuck into second place. Jenna Lutzel, the Blue Thunder, looks into second. Here comes Normal's Immode. And she's gonna get there. It's gonna be close between her and Belvedere North. But the win to the section leader, Michaela Hackbarth, Downers Grove South, 2:14:17. All right, heat number 2 of 3. Here's your field. We will announce this field after the start of the race. In this field, we have Olivia Meyer of Chicago St. Ignatius, Jocelyn Mendoza of Chicago Taft in 3, Nikki Altoff of Rockton Hononegah in 4, Stephanie Urbanchik of Downers North. We saw her as an anchor of the 4x8. She's in 5. Molly Krabshikowski, Villa Park Willowbrook in 6. Alyssa Vogt, Lincoln Way East in 7. Alexandra Martell, Chicago Lane in 8. Erin Falsey, Schaumburg in 11. Renee Letts, Orland Park Sandburg in 12. Morgan Schultz, Cary Grove in 13. Schultz is in 2nd. The leader is Urbanchik of Downers North. Hononegah is in 3rd. Lane Tech is in 4th. And the pack still close together. That is still Urbanchik. The Trojans of Downers North looking to make a move is Schultz of Cary Grove. And then on the inside, you got Lane threatening. Cary Grove into the lead, Lane into 2nd. Urbanchik is in 3rd now. Lane is Alexandra Martell. Morgan Schultz has the lead. Little bump there. And now we have a battle between Cary Grove and Lane Tech. Urbanchik is in 3rd. Cary Grove is Schultz. Lane Tech is Alexandra Martell. Lane Tech, Chicago, finds the accelerator and the win at 2:11. Urbanchik is 3rd. And the win to Lane Tech, Schultz 2nd with a 2:12.90, Urbanchik 3rd. And now, heat number 3 onto the track. Here's your field. Elaine Smith, LaGrange Lions in 2. Caitlin Sanchez, Belleville East in 3. Brooke Drabeck, Fox Lake Grant in 4, Danielle Griesbaum, the Lakes, Lake Villa in 5, Allison Wilson, Aurora, Wabanzi Valley in 6, Marta Zunda of Wheeling in 9. That's the Super Alley in front. Allison Hartman, McKesney Part Harmon in 10. Catherine Adelman, Geneva, the senior, in 11. Taylor Cogdill, Plainfield East in 12. And the state leader, Lauren Van Vleerbergen, Algonquin Jacobs in 13. Van Vleerbergen, an all-state runner in cross country. She's a junior for Algonquin Jacobs. Her leading time from the sectionals, 2:14:30. Schultz was right behind her by 3/100ths of a second out of the Kerry Grove result. And Harkbath also in the 2:14. So you had 3 runners all in the 2:14. And we lost Elaine Smith for a moment in a fall there. Looks like Smith now trailing the pack. We come around here. Van Vleerbergen has the rail. Inside of her is Aurora Wabansi Valley's Allison Wilson. So it's Wilson and Van Vleerbergen. And they are even heading to the bell. Lauren Van Vleerbergen and Allison Wilson at 60 seconds. They're still together. Third place is the 5 runner. It's Griesbaum of the Lakes. And then after that, you got Adelman of Geneva and Drabeck of Fox Lake Grant. Van Vleerbergen and Wilson still in a battle. Van Vleerbergen on the inside and the lead. Wilson looking to get even again as they come out, but here comes Griesbaum. Van Vleerbergen with a slight lead. Wilson trying to get the accelerator started, but Van Vleerbergen responds. Van Vleerbergen to the finish. Lauren win 2:14. Griesbaum is third. Wilson is second. Looks like Geneva comes in fourth with Catherine Adelman. And the board says Van Vleerbergen a 2:14:53. Wilson 2:15 flat for Wabansi Valley. Griesbaum with a 2:16:52. Here comes Lyon Township to finish the race after suffering the spill.
And we have a clean start in the 4x2. Each leg we're running a curve and a straightaway, and it's pretty even now. Evanston looks pretty well. That is the first runner. That's Miranda Dangerfield of Evanston. Now we have Manuka and Oak Park and O'Fallon. Evanston, Oak Park, Manuka. We're still with Evanston, the second leg. That's Alexa Harvey. Along with Manuka, second leg, Megan Caldwell. Kamaya Martin, the junior of Oak Park. We go to the third exchange. Let's see how it goes. It looks like Evanston now will be in the lead, followed by Oak Park and Manuka. So they drop a little bit. They have some thunder on the back end of these relays. We go back to Evanston, O'Fallon, Manuka, Oak Park. Manuka in the black in the middle of the track. Evanston well out in front. Correction, that was O'Fallon and Manuka. Evanston looks like it's going to be Manuka. And here comes the anchors. We have a straightaway to be consistent. Manuka running on that rail. That is Chanel Rogers. Evanston dropping to third. Oak Park trying to slide in there. That is going to be Stennis. We're going to go to the finish. It's going to go 5, 4, 7. Manuka, Oak Park, and Evanston. And again, it's going to be a while before the staggers are broken as the runners are off onto the home straightaway, or the back straightaway. Pretty close to call. Home with Flossmoor. If the stagger still stays the same, we'll hand off simultaneously with Barrington. That's Barrington and York, and Homewood Flossmoor. Homewood Flossmoor, Barrington, and York. Now in the mix is going to be Naperville Central. The first 4 teams coming across your screen on the home stretch, followed by Harvey Thornton. We'll go to the next exchange. Who's it going to be? Naperville. A little trouble with Homewood Flossmoor, but white flags with that exchange will go on to the curve. Naperville in the lead. Homewood Flossmoor now gathering themselves along with Highland Park. Now in the mix we have 5 teams. Barrington, Naperville Central, Homewood Flossmoor, York Dukes. We go to the final exchange. Homewood off to an early start and they'll get it. Followed by York and Barrington. And here comes Highland Park. Highland Park on the inside in the blue, eating up some ground, but it's going to be Homewood Flossmoor and Highland Park now battling for second, along with Naperville Central. Glosson, the anchor for Homewood Flossmoor, would take the win. We go 5, 4, 6, 7. Homewood Flossmoor, Highland Park. And we're off. Good movement out in lane 7, Bloomington. First leg running well in the purple and white stripe. Martin for Bloomington. We go to the second leg. Bloomington. Welch, the freshman, Kylie Welch, welcome to high school. She's on the second leg running down the home stretch, being chased by Wabanzi Valley. That is Alessa Post, the senior. Post, and it looks like Welch. Welch will get it off again. A great leg by the freshman, Welch. Mother McCauley now making their way into the picture. Bloomington's third leg, trying to hang on to the lead. Jolly, that is Deasia Jolly, another freshman, a great underclassmen relay here for Bloomington, Mother Wabanzi Valley. That's Dana Dwyer. Mother McCauley, Bloomington, and now Wabanzi Valley. Wabanzi Valley trying to hang in there. Mother McCauley now have made their presence felt, and they will now get into the lead. Mother McCauley, that's Brianna Driver in the driver's seat for this third section. Wabanzi Valley trying to close it on a young Bloomington team, and we're going to see it's going to be Wabanzi Valley. Breon Hughes, a great finish for the sophomore and a great underclass team for Bloomington. Clean start. There we go to the first exchange. That's Alexis Pierre-Antoine for Lincoln Way East on the opening leg for the very powerful Frankfurt Lincoln Way East team. Next up, we have Odule Alua moving well in the middle. That's East St. Louis Senior. The Flyerettes now. Here comes Odule. Wow, a great second 100. We go to the third exchange here for Lincoln Way East and East St. Boogie. On the inside, we have Chicago Bloom Township, followed by Rock Island. All four teams are there. We'll be giving it to their most powerful anchor legs on this relay for the 4x2. This is the final heat. Lincoln Way East in front, followed by East St. Louis dropping to third. We go to the inside. Bloom now with Lincoln Way East. And it looks like Megan, the fastest qualifier in the 100, would take the wheel for Lincoln Way East and try to close this one out here on the home straightaway. Bloom, Rock Island is coming up. They smell blood, but it's all Megan Morris. And Rock Island now battling for second, some speed reserve to no avail. It looks like Bloom will come in second, followed by Rock Island. But it's been all Lincoln Way East in the sprint relays and the individual events here on this Saturday. We go to the board.
Call for the 300 hurdles to the tent, 300 hurdles to the tent. In lane number 2 of this first race, Ashley Wilson Minuka, Kayla Giuliano of Algonquin Jacobs in 3, Charlencia Stennis of Bolingbrook in 4, Brittany Ellis is in 5 for Gurney Warren. Watch her in this race. Jordan Sheed, St. Charles East in 6. Here's Michaela Hackbarth again for Downers South. She's in 7. Madeline Sullivan, Hinsdale Central in 8. Dana O'Grady, Lincoln Way in 9. That is Gurney Warren. That is Ellis. Holding the middle outside of her is Sheed of St. Charles East, but it's Ellis of Gurney Warren, the Blue Devils. They're in Lake County. Brittany Ellis, Jordan Sheed, slowly losing ground in second place. It's going to be Ellis with the win, and then Sheed for second place. 4 and 2. Stennis and Wilson follow in the 3-4. The win, Brittany Ellis. Call again for the 300 hurdles to the tent. Call for the 300 hurdles to the tent. In the middle now, you've got, looks like Foster Ignofo of Geneva there in the white. Inside of her, DeRosiers. Now DeRosiers, North Lawndale, taking the lead on Geneva. The Phoenix, North Lawndale. Coming around, North Lawndale now clearly in the lead. Ignofo running against the clock now with Barrington's Addison Coy. Still it is DeRosiers. Chicago North Lawndale with the win, 54. 54, it looks like, as she hit the line. Geneva's Ignofo should have held second place in that race, with Barrington a close third. DeRosiers, 54-44, Chicago North Lawndale. Parker English running for Evanston. That should be English heading to the front of the race. English in the lead and continuing to add to the lead. Parker English into the north curve. Now all alone. The battle is for second place with 8 and 7 working against that. Jones and Smart, O'Fallon and Winnetka. As they come around, it is Parker English, the senior. Now down in lane number 2, Asia Brown looks for second, along with Simone Carr of Glenbard North. The win is going to go to Evanston Township, 53. She hits the line somewhere in 53. Parker English, Evanston Township. 53:80 is the official time. All right, Maya Neal has made up the stagger and continues to advance here in race number 1 of 4. Neal of Naperville, Nequa Valley. We've got a second place going right now for Lincoln Way East's Pierre Antoine. As they straighten it out, you've got Maya Neal, and outside of her is Sackett of Libertyville. Sackett of Libertyville now into the lead. Now look at Palatine's Reedy. Reedy trying to make it to the finish line. In second, the win is 7. She stumbles over but still makes it. Great race by Katie Sackett. Hopefully it didn't cost her too much. Also coming in at the end was Caitlin Reedy. I don't know where Maya Neal finished at the end. All right, here we go in the race number 2. You've got Sabrina Matthias of lane and 2 Taylor Stevie of Batavia in 3. Mariah Anderson, Rock Island in 4. As they come around, Jasmine Berry, Belleville West is holding on to the lead. And Taylor Shaw of Crystal Lake South trying to come back. And then you got Thornwoods Carter there in the blue over yellow. Anna Cosio of Barrington. It is still Belleville West Berry. We're going to go to the finish line. The win is 5, followed by 2, followed by Lane Tech's Matias. Stephanie Dominguez was in lane number 9 for North Lake. Leiden. Final call for the 1600. Final call for the 1600. And right now we're looking for some more lost property. If you find an Eastern Illinois bag, it has some valuable room and auto keys in it. The person who's lost it desperately seeking it. If you find that Eastern Illinois sack, please bring it up here to the press box. Heat number 3 of 4 here in the hurdles. We've got Emma Dallin, Wheaton Warrenville South in 2, Kyla Walton, Aurora West in 3, Kristen Dowell, Edwardsville in 4, Morgan Schultz, Cary Grove in 5, Kyla Jamar, Oaklawn, Harold Richards in 6, Courtney Manning, Normal Community, the Iron Women in 7, Tanasia Foy, Crete Moni in 8, and Burbank Revis. The Rams have Polina Gall in 9. Field referee to the dugout. Nice jump for Morgan Schultz of Cary Grove. And moving up even more. That should be Schultz of Cary Grove. Let's double check it. It is the 5 runner outside of her. You got Richards. Jamar, let's watch him come around. That's Cary Grove in the lead. Richards on the outside in second with Kyla Jamar. This is Morgan Schultz. She's a junior. She's leaving the field behind. Big time. Coming up is Crete Moniz Foy. She's battling for second place with Dowell of Aurora, or of Edwardsville. It's going to be a tie for second, potentially between Foy of Crete Moniz and Edwards versus Dowell. The win, though, in a landslide, is Morgan Schultz of Cary Grove, 43.02. Leah Huss, Pekin, the Dragons, in 1. Sarah Kate Capel, the Barrington Phillies, will be in 2. Courtney Dalton, it is Allen Shepherd High School of Palos Heights in 3. In 4, we have Emma Spagnola in this race. You saw her qualify earlier. She is in lane number 5 for Aurora West. Emily Schmidt Huntley in 6. La Jeanne Kelty, East St. Louis is in 7. Olivia Katow, Main Township South in 8. And Jasmine Rafanen, Niles West of Skokie, the Wolves in 8. Emma Spagnola, there she goes. She's qualified in the long jump today. She got a 13.9 in the 100 hurdles and won that. Here she's heading for an apparent win in the 300 hurdles. Coach from Belvedere North to the clerk's tent, please. Coach from Belvedere North to the clerk's tent, and Whitney Young to the clerk's tent. Emma Spagnola. Just blasting them all away. Emma Spagnola into the straightaway. 32.9. The record is 40.61. She heads for those final hurdles, clearly in the lead, and she's over, and the win at 42.9, I'll call it. Emma Spagnola, Aurora West. Everybody else battling for second in that one. And here are your competitors in number 1. Sadie Elevate, Danville. In position 1, Morgan Bollinger Lockport. In 2, Mackenzie Callahan Manuka. In 3, Salome Hiley of Hoffman Estates. The Hawks in 4, Ayoko Higuchi. You saw her run for Fremd in the 4x8 earlier. Amanda Thate, Downers Grove South in 6, Danielle Beckstead, Normal Community in 8. Katie Purich, McHenry in 9. Madeline Perez of Glenbard West will be in 10. Maria McDaniel, Naperville North in 11. Megan Biddle, second Hoffman runner in this race, will be in 12. And Annie Zayer, Hinsdale Central in 13.
And here are the girls qualifying for the 400-meter dash on Saturday. Running in lane 1 for Bolingbrook will be Charlincia Stinnis. In lane 2 from Geneva, we'll have Foster Ignafo. In lane 3 from Carroll Stream Glenbard North will be Simone Carr. In lane 4 from Gurney Warren will be Brittany Ellis. In lane 5 from Evanston Township will be Parker English. In lane 6 from Chicago North Lauldale will be Brittanyana De Rosers. In lane 7 from St. Charles East will be Jordan Shed. In lane 8 from Chicago St. Ignatius will be Hannah Kuhn. And rounding off the list from Aurora, West Aurora, will be Tamia Rafer.
All right, in this one right now, we've got Madeline Perez in the lead with Annie Zayer of Hinsdale Central. There we've got Hiley in for Hoffman Estates in the 3rd spot. I think that's McHenry in the number 4. Perez on the inside rail. Shelley McBride, Crete Bonny, has the record here, 4:49.34, set in 1985. First call 200 dash to the tent, first call 200 dash. It's still 10:13, Madeline Perez and Izar. And then the Hoffman teammates running together, Megan Biddle and Salome Hiley. And 6 is the 5 runner, that's Amanda Thate of Downers South. Maddie Perez with Ann Zahar. And now we've got the 12 runner in there, Megan Biddle of Hoffman. Biddle not running in the Harlequin, but Hiley is running for Hoffman. You see them both on the rail. And Downers South in the top group, that is Thate. We're halfway through. Perez and Zahar. This is your 1-2. Perez has had her share of injuries in the last year after setting near record paces in cross country. And then here a year ago, I mean, she approached within a second, going under 16 in cross country back in 2012. Here's Higuchi of Fremd. Zahar on the outside. Perez still with the lead. There's Downers South State. This one might get real ugly coming into the last 400 on who will want to win. It is still Perez. Can Perez hold off Zahar? Higuchi right behind him for Fremd. It's still Perez on the rail. Zahar staying right with him for Hinsdale. Perez now into second as Zahar has accelerated in the curve. Zahar on the straightaway. Higuchi threatening for second. Perez now trying to catch up to Zahar. Perez the senior, Zahar the sophomore. Zahar has the lead. And we are not getting any closer. Perez behind Zahar and Higuchi almost equidistant into third. If it's going to happen, it'll happen soon. It does look like Perez is struggling to stay through. We go on to the straightaway right now. Perez accelerates. It's not is it enough to get to the stride? Perez accelerates. Perez accelerates. Perez goes to the finish line. Madeline Perez catches her in the last 100. It didn't look like it would happen. And Zahar running very strong since the bell, with Perez at least 3 lengths behind. Perez still at that distance, entering the straightaway, and Perez found the gear. 4:50, 8:31, Madeline Perez. Glenbard West, Zahar. Hinsdale Central, 4:58.50. Here's your field. We got Lexi Radofsky here for the Lions Township. She's in 1. Lisa Lushak. Glenbard West, she's in 2. Katie Escobar, Palatine Fremd in 3. Jenna Letzo, the freshman for Belvedere North in 4. Mary Claire Leonard, a freshman for Chicago Marist in 5. Casey Jensen, Orland Park, Carl Sandberg in 6. Deanna Kafkis of LaGrange Lions in 7. Jacobowski, Alexis Jacobowski of St. Ignatius in 8. Kelsey Schrader, DeKalb, the Barbs in 9. Janelle Ferguson, Rockford Auburn in 10. Gabby Juarez, Streamwood in 11. Sarah Kelly, Loyola Academy. She was in on that championship 4x8 earlier today in 12. And Lauren O'Patrony of McHenry in 13.
And here are the ladies qualifying for the 4x2 meter relay on Saturday. Running in lane 1 will be Danville High School. Running in lane 2 will be Aurora. In lane 3 will be Chicago Heights, Bloom Township. In lane 4 will be Homewood Flossmoor. In lane 5 will be Frankfort Lincoln Way East. Lane 6 will be Chicago Mother McCauley. In 7 will be Manuka. In lane 8 will be Rock Island High School. And finally, rounding out this list, in lane 9 will be Bloomington High School.
All right, they come around on the north curve. 6 is your leader, Jensen for Sandberg. 12 in there, Sarah Kelly, Loyola Academy. Let's see who's on the outside there. That's 5. 5 is Mary Claire Leonard of Marist. running even. Also in there, you got Juarez of Streamwood and Jacobowski of St. Iggy's. 74 seconds on the first 400. What a way to start the 1600 with the race we witnessed. And as I've mentioned to my colleagues up here, let's start keeping track. How many between these races finish under 5? We've got 2 on the scoreboard right now, under 5. Let's see what happens in these next 2 races as they are now on the back stretch, and it's a very thick pack. Jacobowski of Ignatius has pushed into a tie with Carl Sandberg's Casey Jensen. They're even. And we got an 8 factoring in there right now. Jacobowski and 13 coming around. That is McHenry's Opatrini. Lauren Opatrini. She now has the lead. Marist. Mary Claire Leonard in second. Final call on the 200. Here's Mary Claire Leonard pushing, trying to get even with Opatrini. And Opatrini back into the lead at the halfway mark, just below 2:38. Thirteen and 5. Opatrini, Mary Claire Leonard, and Sarah Kay still up there for Loyola Academy. Now into 4th place, pushing for 3rd is Gabby Juarez, Streamwood. Still anybody's race, especially when you see how race number 1 finished. Look how tight everybody is here, making the 3rd loop. Into the north curve, Opatrini, Mary Claire Leonard, and Sarah Kelly. Kelly really throwing it, trying to stay in. There is Gabby Juarez, Streamwood in the 4. Let's see who's the 5. It's the 9 runner. It's Schrader of DeKalb. She leads the second group. Frems Escobar next in there. And it's the bell at 3:48. And now the battle begins for sure. Opatrini trying to break away from Mary Claire Leonard. And the freshman says no. We're back together stride for stride as we enter the back stretch. Opatrini, Mary Claire Leonard again on the back stretch, starting to distance themselves from the 3 runner for Loyola. Sarah Kelly being left behind. Opatrini moves up. Opatrini seems to have found it. Mary Claire Leonard can't keep up. It's the size and stride making the distance right now. Lauren Opatrini, McHenry. Mary Claire Leonard is second. And Opatrini still has more in the tank. She's heading home, 4:47, 4:48. She'll join the under 5 club for sure. Oh, and we've lost Mary Claire Leonard. And here comes Gabby Juarez. Mary Claire Leonard being passed by Sarah Kelly. The win to Opatrini, and we've lost her again. Mary Claire Leonard trying to finish this race after 2 falls. She's home and almost again get a trainer to her. Something gave out after trying to keep up with Lauren Opatrini all the way on the back stretch. Number 7, Diana Kafkas of Lions is going to finish this race. And Opatrini is in at 4:50.05. And we'll note in that race that Mary Claire Leonard, I believe she finished down in the 8th spot with a 5:14.61, clearly would have been close to 5 at the finish. Heat number 3. Here's the field. Isabel Araujo, Whitney Young in 1, Aaron Falsey, Schaumburg in 2, Carly Lutzow, Belvedere North in 3, Tori Skull of St. Charles East in 4, Skylar Bollinger from the Yorkville Foxes in this race in 5, the state 3A cross-country champion, Mimi Smith, Winnetka New Trier is the 6th runner. J.J. Robinson, New Lenox, Lincoln Way in 7. Christine Mujica, Skokie, Niles West in 8. Samantha Lapp, O'Fallon in 9. Christina Santiago, Prospect in 10. Lauren Van Bleerbergen, Algonquin Jacobs in 11. Kelly O'Brien of Palatine in 12. The field is led by Catherine House, Winnetka, Loyola Academy. Race number 3 in the 1600. And we look here, where's Skylar Bollinger? She's in the middle of the pack for Yorkville. The 12-runner O'Brien of Palatine has the early lead. 6th runner is Smith. On the inside, we've got Van Bleerbergen. And on the outside, Loyola's Catherine House. Kelly O'Brien leads the group onto the straightaway for the first time. There's Mimi Smith. Loyola and Algonquin Jacobs. There's O'Fallon and Yorkville in the next group. 75 seconds on the first 400. As they enter the back stretch, everybody's still together, still being led by Palatine's O'Brien. Mimi Smith on the outside in second, and Loyola's House in third. Van Bleerbergen on the rail has to keep moving forward because O'Fallon's Lap right behind her, with Bollinger now behind Van Bleerbergen. O'Brien in the lead, Smith in second, Van Bleerbergen on the inside, on the outside, Catherine House. All of these accomplished runners. Mimi Smith in the 3A cross-country matchup last year ran very strong through the entire 3 miles. Smith now into the lead for New Trier. And we're at the halfway mark. Into the south curve, Mimi Smith. Smith is a junior for the Trevians. And we lost somebody. I'm going to check 13. That is House. First call, 4x4. House takes the beating. Keeps on ticking. She's back into the front group. Loyola rambles on after a setback. They are, and she's come to the front with Mimi Smith now. Smith and House, O'Brien, Van Bleerbergen, and 37:57, I think that is Skull of St. Charles East. Skull of St. Charles East now wants in on the action. Skull is up there, and House sets with O'Brien. Skull trying to go to the outside. Van Bleerbergen hasn't left her 2 position on the rail. And we are now with 400 to go at the 3:52 mark. There is Skylar Bollinger behind the pack. She's going to have to find a couple of openings to move up or go to the outside. To the back stretch. And it's O'Brien once again. Palatine in the lead. Van Bleerbergen looks to go to the outside. Mimi Smith to the inside. Van Bleerbergen trying to gain on O'Brien. O'Brien, Veerbergen, Smith. The effects of the fall, I think, have caught up with House. They fade. She's fading to 4th. Coming around the curve, Kelly O'Brien not giving up the sophomore, keeping Lauren Van Bleerbergen behind. Now Mimi Smith swings to the outside. Smith and Van Bleerbergen stays with her. Smith and Van Bleerbergen, both of them trying to run down O'Brien. Van Bleerbergen. She's got it. If she keeps the pace, Lauren Van Bleerbergen to the finish line. She got it. Van Bleerbergen edges O'Brien. What an effort by O'Brien to stay in front. Mimi Smith starts the charge. She's in there, but no one's under 5. They're all 5 flat in this race. 5 flat 04, Van Bleerbergen. 5 flat 09, O'Brien. 5 flat 91 for Smith.
So now we're at the penultimate event here in the Class 3A preliminary day. The girls 200-meter dash. We have 3 preliminary heats. And let's set the field. In lane number 2, Manna Locke, sophomore from Lake Park. In lane number 3, Kyla Jamar, sophomore of Richards from Oak Lawn. The Huskies in lane number 4, Mora Abdur Rafa. In lane number 5, Alexis Highshaw, the senior from Lincoln Way East. Antoinette Boughton, the junior of Homewood Flossmoor. The Vikings watch those two battle it out. Brittany Thomas, the senior from Chicago Heights Bloom Township. Lane number 8, Morgan Harris, the sophomore of Oswego East. And Highland Park will be represented by Nigel Lane in 9. We go to the starter. A good jump by Boughton of Homewood Flossmoor, and Highshaw not far behind. Lincoln Way, Homewood Flossmoor, the triangle has formed. Now in the mix we have Brittany Thomas of Bloom. Bloom now from Thomas of Bloom. Highshaw. Now here comes Oak Park. We're going to go 7-5-4-6. 7-5-4-6. Brittany, the senior, Bloom, securing her spot for the finals on Saturday with a time of 24:31. We move on to the second preliminary heat. Meet record 23:32, set back in 2005 by Alexandria Anderson of Chicago Morgan Park. In lane number 1, the senior from Oaklawn Community, Victoria Jones. Natasha Simmons of Oswego in lane number 2. The junior from Bolingbrook, Jessica Watkins. In lane number 4, Giselle Martin of Bloomington, the sophomore, coming off the 4x2. And lane number 5, Brianna DeRoser of Chicago North Lawndale, the Phoenix from the Public League. The senior from Frankfurt, Lincoln Way East, Megan Amaris, the senior. Brittany Griesbaum from the Lakes, a junior. Sydney Williamson of Belleville East in 8. And Lauren Kroll, the freshman from Addison Trail, out in 9. This is a very explosive 200 heat. And we'll take it to the starter. Final call 4x4. Final call 4x4 to the 10. DeJourna, she won the 400. Morris won the 100 and the hurdles. She had the fastest qualifying time. We're going to see her as she rounds the curve. She was in the 4x2 as well from Lincoln Way East. Here comes the Phoenix flying down. It's going to be a close call. It's going to be DeRosa and Morris. DeRosa will clean this one up, followed by Lincoln Way East and then Bloomington, the sophomore. A great setup for Saturday's final. We'll see DeRosa 24-21. As you dab the sweat from your forehead, we'll move on to the final heat of the 200-meter preliminary. Roka Robinson of Chicago's Perspectives and won. The freshman from Batavia, Hannah Schlorman. And lane number 3 from Crystal Lake Central, Kelsey Mata. And lane number 4, Lucretia Linton of Rock Island. English Parker, a household name, the senior from Evanston. She's in 5. Brittany Ellis. She's a 3rd ranked 400-meter runner here in the state going into tomorrow from Gurney. She's in 6. Maya Watson Blake of O'Fallon in 7. Morgan Scholes of Cary Grove. And we have DeJourna Span of Schaumburg out in 9. Good start for O'Fallon. Parker English in the middle, being chased by Rock Island Lucretia Linton. Parker English now on the inside. That is Mata. Parker English, though, will set the tone for the final 10 meters. It looks like now Mata, Crystal Lake Central, Mata, followed by Linton. So we'll go Parker English, Mata, then Linton. Your 1, 2, 3 for this final heat. English 23.74. The first one to dip under. Mata 24.72. Linton 24.98. And we are underway for the final event, heat number 1 of 3. Each leg will stay in their lane for 3 turns, and then they'll cut into the break line. But as we move on here, it looks like Shepherd is in the lead, leading the charge. And in the red, it looks like Aurora West out in lane number 6. Followed by Chicago Lane in the white over green. That's Davis. She was on that 3rd leg in the 4x8 earlier today. Lincoln Way East running well out in lane number 7. And now they will pull up as the leaders. So we come to the first 6 change. We're going to find out who's in front. Again, these anchors will run Lincoln Way East, followed by Lane Tech, and then it's going to be Aurora West. Lincoln Way East. Now coming into the picture are the Wild Kits of Evanston as we go to the break. Lincoln Way East, Evanston, Lane Tech. Lincoln Way East still leading the charge on this 2nd leg. A Ludon of Lincoln Way East, followed by the Wild Kits. Aurora West now moves into second spot. Lincoln Way East will hand off a great second leg for Aurora West. Evanston will be third, Lane Tech fourth. Looks like Palatine will be fifth. Lincoln Way East with a comfortable lead. Barrera, 200 meters to go, followed by Aurora West. Rayford of Aurora West in second, closing the distance on Lincoln Way East, the Griffins. And it's going to be a fight here, great speed for Aurora West. Emma Spagnola, a busy girl, she will take the baton here. Asia Brown of Lincoln Way East with Emma Spagnola right in her hip pocket. 300 meters to go, and the third now moves back Lane Tech. Lane Tech's third anchor leg. Martell ran an outstanding 800, 2:11 early today. Emma Spangola and Asia Brown has come to the point of no return. They are behind the scoreboard. How badly do they want it is the question. Emma Spagnola to the outside. Asia Brown trying to hold her off. Spagnola into the lead. Asia Brown trying to hang on. We're at 3:48, 3:49, 3:50 for Spagnola. Asia Brown right in second. 800-meter specialist, 3:56 for the Indians and the Wildcats in fourth. And that was only the first heat, ladies and gentlemen. 3:50.06 for Aurora West, followed by the Griffins. 3:50.91 Lane. 3:50.08. 3:57.08. And here we go. We move to the second heat. That is East St. Louis and Bloom. Bloom coming up on Geneva, breaking the stagger. The Flyerettes are still out in front. Williams of East St. Louis. That is Felicia, the sophomore. Moving well for the Flyerettes. And coming up now, we have Chicago Township Bloom. Bloom's first leg. We have Kiera Griggs, another sophomore, leading the charge, along with York. That is Seymour. Bloom will be first, followed by York. East St. Louis is second. It looks like Geneva is third. Manuka, and that is Christian Tukey. For Manuka, we go to the break. It's going to be Bloom, Manuka on the rail. In the green, that's Glenbar West on the outside there. It looks like York, though. Now that's York. Swartz from York making a move. Manuka on the outside. That's Tukey. And Bloom still leading the charge. Ramirez trying to hold off York to the outside. York The Lady Dukes, the Flyerettes are in there. Manuka's falling back. We're going to have some excitement here at this exchange. We go Bloom, York, Manuka, and for Flyerettes. We go to the third legs for Bloom Township. East St. Louis now to the outside. And they're going to tie up there. That's Kemple of East St. Louis. She'll slowly get into lane number 1. No more traffic for her. Bloom is second. York is third on the outside. Manuka is on the rail. That's Hamilton in second place for Bloom. The Flyerettes are still leading, cruising at a nice altitude on the south curve coming into the home straightaway. York is chomping at the bit. They're going to be on the inside here as we come on the home straightaway. A big move here now by Manuka and Bloom. And the Flyerettes will now start to move into third. Manuka, Tonelli, hands off to Rogers for the anchor leg for Manuka. Rogers will now take it. Bloom Township, the Flyerettes in third. Ruiz, Jasmine Ruiz, the senior of Bloom. Pulling up to Manuka. Flyerettes are trying to get back into it. In fifth place, that is Glenbard West. We come to 200 meters to go with this second preliminary of the ladies 4x4. Manuka, Bloom Township, the Flyerettes, Glenbard West, and York. And now here comes the speed. Manuka trying to hold on, and they're extending the lead. Bloom Township now become even. Manuka will take this win. The Glenbard West trying to bring in the Flyerettes for third with no avail. We'll go Manuka, Bloom, the Flyerettes, Glenbard West, York, that's Geneva, followed by the Phoenix of North Lawndale and Rock Island. We go to the board. Manuka 354.98. Chicago Heights, Bloom Township 355.82. East St. Louis 357.83. And they're off. It looks like Rockton Hananega making an early lead due to the stagger. Amy Dal Centillo out there for Rockton Hananega. Moving along is O'Fallon out in lane number 7. Alicia Jones for Wabanzi Valley. O'Fallon now moves into the third position due to the stagger. So Alicia Jones. Rockton Hananega still holding the lead. We go to the first exchange. Rockton Hananega, O'Fallon. It looks like on the inside St. Charles East. And then we'll go out to Mother McCauley for the fourth spot. Once the runners pass the brake line, they will merge into lane number 1. St. Charles East, that looks like on the inside, will take the lead. Rockton Hananega, followed by O'Fallon. Chicago Mother McCauley. So we go back to the front. St. Charles East, second leg. Second leg for St. Charles East. 37.50 is our runner for St. Charles East. Janelic of St. Charles East, that's Chanelic, followed by Rockton Hananega. 37.23. Del Santo. We go to the third leg. St. Charles East, Rockton Hononegah, O'Fallon. It looks like a new LaGrange in the fourth spot. Reese will be the third leg for O'Fallon. Rockton Hononegah, third leg is moving up well on the backstretch. Kierson running in second for Rockton Hononegah. 200 meters to go. We're at 2:26 for the time, and St. Charles East holding on to that lead. McNicholas, St. Charles East. McNicholas, the freshman, extending the lead over Rockton Hononegah. Del Santos. And then you have O'Fallon. We're going to the anchors. St. Charles East, Rockton Hononegah, O'Fallon, Lyons Township. Barrington now moves into the fourth spot. Cardenas for O'Fallon. In the third spot, the junior, Tammy, with the pink socks, coming on Rockton Hononegah. But St. Charles East, 200 meters to go. It's going to be a fight here. We're going to have three runners trying to advance their team to the final. St. Charles East, their anchor leg, trying to hold on. That is Sheed, Jordan Sheed, the senior. Rockton Hononegah and O'Fallon. Elkoff of Rockton Hononegah in second. O'Fallon is Cardenas. We're going to go. Hononegah will be second. St. Charles East is first, and O'Fallon's third. Barrington will take the fourth spot. We'll go to the board. 3:55.26 for St. Charles East. Rockton Hononegah, 3:56.37